Okay. Um, my first question would be, have you ever used a playway method or any type of interactive games in your classes for teaching or for revision, specifically for beginners?
Interactive games, yes. Uh, I have used this method. Yeah.
Okay. So, what kind of games do you generally have you previously generally used?
For example, when I have taught numbers, I have I have taught them counting. For example, skipping one or two people and then directly going to the third one or fourth one. That kind of thing I have done while teaching numbers.
Okay. So, how do you promote more engagement and participation in classes?
By speaking or by giving equal attention to every student, because my benchmark is the student who does not participate or who somehow feel that he is weak. So I always try my best to speak to that student in my classes generally. I'm very much interested in that student who is not doing what is being told in the class, or who doesn't want to do something, or he doesn't participate at all. This is what I have done.
Okay. So, based on this, what techniques or teaching methodologies could you recommend that would help maybe increase concentration and engagement in classes?
Uh, I generally, when it is a big class, especially let's say that in colleges and universities where there are 50 students or 40 students, 60 students in a class. So generally, I try to go to the students. I keep walking in the class, and I ensure that students sitting on every bench, they are paying attention and they are participating. And communicative method is the best, because let's say that I'm teaching something where I am asking a question and I need answer from them. For example, it could be hablar verb. So I tell them that if I say hablas, your answer should be hablo. If I say hablais, your answer should be hablamos. So I ask these kind of questions where they need to participate. They need to give me the answer.
Okay. So, what is your opinion on using, let's say, board games in classes for language learning?
Can be done. Board games should be. There is no. Since I have not done it, it does not mean that it shouldn't be tried, because there are very innovative teachers these days. They try and they learn those activities also for teaching the language. So board game should be tried. Yes.
So, do you think if board games are introduced, it would be possible for students to use these and to improve their skills and proficiency, such as conjugations, grammar?
Yes, yes. If they are participating, that itself means that they are showing interest. Their participation itself will ensure, or will that says that they are interested in the process. They have their full attention in the classroom or in the activities where they are participating.
Okay. So, if you were teaching beginners or children, would you think it would be a good idea to introduce board games? And if so, what strategies would you touch upon in a game like that for beginners?
This completely depends on the teacher. So, if the teacher is introducing any game in the class, then the teacher should be convinced with that methodology that the teacher is going to follow in the class. So, this question that you are asking me, uh, I will say that the teacher should take the decision. Teacher should be convinced about the methodology that he or she is following.
Yeah. So, if we look at the perspective of games being used in a learning process, do you think it would help imbibe more passion for language learning at a young age?
Yes, it will be interesting for young students, and also the involvement will be more, and it won't be a boring class. So games and board games should be tried. Should be tried. Yeah, teachers should feel very comfortable, very confident while using this methodology.
Yeah.
And teachers should also be able to predict the outcome. Like teachers should understand, if I'm doing this, what is the outcome that I'm going to get out of this particular activity.
Okay. So, are you familiar with the IB PYP curriculum, like for grade 5 students?
Recently, I have not taught any IB syllabus. I had a few students of IB diploma approximately 10 years ago,
Okay.
or in 2010, 11, and 2012, I was teaching them as one-on-one classes.
Okay. So, what do you think should be the proficiency level, or how conversant should a 10-year-old language learning student be, according to you?
When I was teaching IB syllabus, it was ab initio, and the syllabus was A1 and A2 for that. I also saw that Common European Framework logo on the textbook of IB during those years. So 10 years students should definitely have, I guess, A1 beginner level they should have, A1 scholar level, they should have this level.
Yeah.
Also, during when I was teaching IB syllabus, I noticed that many students were entering the higher levels directly. For example, a student was already studying uh, the same course, and these students who are completely new, they used to start learning with them. So these students, they needed extra support or help.
Yeah. So, if you look at, as you mentioned, an A1 level, say for beginners, what topics or themes would you think would be most generalized to be integrated into a game for something of an A level curriculum?
I feel when teachers are teaching numbers, colors, also conjugation of regular verbs, uh, days of the week, months of the year. These will be easier topics to teach. And when they are also the vocabulary related, specific vocabulary related to, let's say, classroom, family members. So vocabulary can be taught with this method
Yeah.
by using activities. Yeah.
So, I had one interest-based question. So, as a language expert, why do you think a lot of people are now opting to learn Spanish compared to other languages in this at this time? So, what makes Spanish a better choice for so many people?
Currently, I feel that the developing economies like Latin America, South America, which is very far from India, but very similar in m- many aspects, including culture, aspirations, business, and the academic requirements that they have. French and German have been, these two languages have been taught over many years in India, and now it is Spanish, because Spanish, I feel, is a truly international language. So if you know Spanish, learning other languages that are originated from Latin becomes very easy. This is one reason, and the trade between Latin American countries and India is increasing very rapidly. Many companies from India are going to South America, South American countries. For example, the automobile companies from India, almost all the automobile companies, including uh, TVS, Bajaj, Mahindra, Tata, these are present in almost every country of Latin America. Countries like Peru and Chile are very interested in Indian market. They are also going to sign a free trade agreement. Peru is going to sign a free trade agreement with India, and the trade relationships are increasing very rapidly. Indian government, the current government that is there, is very interested in the countries of global south. So in global south countries, South American countries, countries including countries, uh, this current government is actually paying a lot of attention to connect with all these countries, and probably being a leader of the global south, or a leader of the third world, or developing economies. So these are the reasons, and also the companies that are based in United States, they have their strong presence in India. You know that all the multinationals, the IT giants, are present in cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Gurgaon, and Noida. So why they come to India is not only uh, for the reason of cheap labor. This is an old thing when the call center and BPO boom started in 2002 or 2003. Now they are coming because they find variety of resources in this country. Finding uh, every skill in a country like India is easier than finding the variety of skills in other countries, like, let's say, countries of Europe, where population is very less in a country. But here, also because of the population, because of the many skills being taught in colleges and universities, they have mm, they don't have any difficulty in starting a new business, or uh, outsourcing, or setting up a new business, or collaborating with an Indian resource. Also related to your question, I feel that after COVID, the earlier before COVID, India used to export many things to the Spanish speaking countries. But after COVID, when we found that internet is a very powerful tool, and it's a very reliable tool which we are using for education, and we are also using it for professional purposes. People these days are not going to offices, and they are working from home. In this scenario, many Indian organizations, smaller companies got this confidence that they can not only sell their products, but they can also sell their services. A website, a company that makes website, or a company that offers digital marketing services, is also approaching clients sitting in any part of the world, including South American countries where Spanish is spoken. And here, the role of Spanish speakers, people who know Spanish, either They are employed by the company or providing support, online support as a freelancer or a part-timer is a tool that all these companies are making use of. The trainings and the transition of a business is happening with the help of interpreters who are sitting in such sessions. Conferences, webinars, seminars are happening. So these are the reasons that I feel that Spanish is a better choice than other languages currently.
Yeah. So, in continuation to this, if we look at students, so why do
Mhm.
you think why do you think Spanish is a better subject choice for languages as compared to others for future prospects for students now?
Okay. So, as a language teacher, I would tell you that Spanish, if you compare it with any other languages that you know, is easier than Spanish is easier to teach, to understand, and it is very well structured compared to, let's say, if you see a language like English, where there are a lot of exceptions, lot of irregularities are there in verbs and structures in grammar. Spanish is very well structured, and uh, I feel that Spanish is very logical also. The rules of grammars, the rules of the grammar are very logical. So that makes Spanish easier for Indian students. When I say Indian students, a person who has knowledge of an Indian language, be it Kannada, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, finds it very easy to understand the concepts of Spanish grammar. I can give you the examples like, let's say, structure of object pronouns, the position that we have in Spanish. We follow the same position, let's say, in a language like Hindi, and many more such similarities we have. The vowels that we have in Spanish, how we read vowels, how are the vowel sounds. These vowel sounds are available in our Indian languages, and that makes Spanish a very easy language for Indian students.
So let's say a student chooses Spanish for their
Mhm.
higher studies. How do you, in what ways can they take Spanish forward in their future, maybe as a career or as an aspiration for their lives?
So when students of Spanish, they plan to continue with Spanish in their higher education, uh, the first thing that I will advise to them is that they should try to have international certifications. They should study in such a manner where they are really studying for communicating with the Spanish speaking people. It should not be only for the purpose of obtaining marks and passing exams. And Latin American studies in the universities, it is an established course where they have graduation, BA in Spanish, and a master in Latin American studies. When I say Latin American studies, Latin America is a region which is very far from us geographically, politically, historically, and the way they think, the way they do things are completely different. So to understand such a thing, such a large population and such a culture which is very distant from ours, we need to study about them. And when we learn a language, any language, in order to understand it from inside, you have to be an insider. Without learning a language, a person cannot be accepted, cannot understand many things inside that society which speaks that language. For example, I stay in Karnataka, and if I do not speak Kannada, for me it will be very difficult to understand what is happening in Kannada cinema, what is happening in Kannada theater, what is happening in Kannada, in the politics of Karnataka, how is the cultural history of uh, Karnataka, what are the political and social issues that we have. So these things also matter a lot, especially when people or companies do business with a geographical reason. They are very sensitive towards such things. So it is not only related to history, culture, and politics and society. If a student is studying Spanish today and he is going to be part of some large, big corporation also, having this level of uh, approach or having this level of in-depth understanding of the culture society, it will make him a better business person or better professional than anyone else. And communication, as I understand, is the most powerful tool in any sector that you are going to work for.
So, in continuation to the previous question, if we look at
Yes.
students again,
Mhm.
let's say students who plan on staying in India for their future studies or for uh, the rest of their careers, why is it still beneficial for them to learn foreign languages?
Why should Indian students learn foreign languages? As I mentioned, to connect with the language is a gateway to a new culture. So it gives you access to so many people. So if you do not want to remain outsider for a culture or for a society where you want to work in future, then you should learn the language of that particular region. So Latin America or South America, today more than 500 million people speak this language as a native language. And this number is not only limited to the native people. I mean, people like me, many people in the United States, they are learning Spanish because they feel that for other people who are coming from South America, learning English is very easy for them. And if they are learning English, then any employer in the United States will prefer a person who is speaking more than one language. And the advantage of learning the language is that advantage of learning the language of a developing world, developing economy is that they can do business there. If people of United States learn Spanish, they can do business with South American or Latin American countries. If they do not learn it, they cannot do it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would like to add one more point here based on this question. Why should India learn Spanish? The For us, you know that Europe and USA is very expensive for our uh, people, the way we have our salaries. So it is always better for us to find similar kind of economy to do business with. So if we have a person who is working with us, who is from a Spanish-speaking country, most probably he will be from South America because Spain is a very small country. It's not even the second or third largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. So that is the reason Indian people or Indian students should learn Spanish.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. That was really insightful.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Thank you,
opportunity.
Ranjeet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shalini. Thank you.
This was really
Rehan,
helpful. Indeed, yes, it was helpful.
I'm glad to share what I knew.
I think you're the best person because you also run an institute. So I'm sure Dhani would have understood inside how, the language itself work. And so many, you can plan on taking this subject or taking this language in your further studies and probably, make it as your career.
Yes,
As
yes.
as the language teachers, we are all from different, how do I say, we haven't studied Spanish from the beginning. We only started it
Mhm.
after college or, after joining the job and then realizing, this is not my cup of tea and then, continuing the same. So I think, yes, thank you so much, Ranjit. This was really, helpful in many ways. Thank you. Tani, I hope this was
Yeah,
what you were expecting.
yes.
Yes. So if you have any questions or probably you can ask Ranjit, sir, and then, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
ask
you can ask.
all
Now
of
you
my
have my
questions.
phone number and also I'm connected here. If you have any further questions, you can ask. Yeah, India needs Spanish because if we have to grow as an economy, we need many people to support Indian mm, commercial or business activities. Without that, without giving this confidence to mm, the economic or commercial sector, uh, we cannot convince them to do business with us if we cannot speak their language.
Absolutely. And also, Ranjit, probably for the next set of Delhi examinations, Dani will be coming to your center.
Please come,
She
please
has
come.
done her Delhi A2 adult examination recently.
Nice, nice.
So next she'll be taking up B1 and she'll
B1
be
or
writing
B2,
in your
yeah.
center. Yes.
Sure, sure,
Yes, so when I come and do my exam in your institute, I'll get better marks. I'll study hard.
sure.
Absolutely. He's the best person to teach